Now boarding for Rebuild of JoyCast, your weekly destination for anime, manga, and more.
Welcome back to JoyCast, everyone. That's right, I'm the one doing the intro now. I bet Ivan's just fucking pissed. Go on, Ivan.
No, it's actually pretty nice, because I'm kind of like, I've already started my Golden Week, so... Yeah, I mean, if you want, you can just do the entire episode yourself. I can leave.
No, I'm back.
No,
I'm terrible at just...
I'd miss you too much.
I wasn't gonna go that far, but yeah, sure.
But yeah, oh, so you guys, you little shits thought that the One Piece discussion was over. Oh no, it keeps going. So, following last week, I decide, alright, it's time to start watching One Piece weekly. And oh boy, did I pick the right episode to begin my actual weekly live watching. Episode 1015. Otherwise known as the greatest episode of the series ever.
I've only just watched it because, as you know, I got into this, like, thing of not hating on the One Piece anime, but I was definitely, like, very apathetic towards it for a long time, and I'm sure you got to a point where you felt the same way, right?
Same.
Yeah.
Same. The only reason why I'm watching it again now is just because I'm going to catch up with it weekly.
Yeah. And
it's kind of kind of recap on what I just read. Because as I said before, Wano was a bit of a tough read for me.
Yeah, it's after Whole Cake Island, I can completely understand why Wano
It's just fatigue. It
would
was
be...
just fatigue.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Wano's not doing anything exceptionally wrong. In fact, the part that we are now entering right now is the good stuff, so...
Wano is, like... So One Piece has this tendency to go in, like, waves of... We go on the small adventures, which, can you believe, like, Whole Cake Island is, like, a small adventure. It's, like, you know, a small part of what is the greater finishing of the Wano arc, essentially. Because Wano is, like, the end point of this entire freaking thing. You have, Dressrosa, which was obviously a massive freaking bit, but, like, you put it on the same level as Alabasta, for example. Like, you enter the Grand Line, you go to Laboon, you meet someone, they come aboard your ship, you go to a few more places and everything, you get to know these characters and everything and figure out what they're all about over time and stuff, like with Vivi, and then you get to the main point where like you're gonna say goodbye to them characters. That's like the big part of finishing, like, what I feel is not an arc, but a part of One Piece.
A saga. There's arcs and then there's sagas.
Yeah,
and I agree. Alabasta was like the end, it was like the climax of classic One Piece.
Yeah.
Like what you started with, and this was a huge wrap up of what had just transpired so far. Again, I consider Marineford the climax of the peak era. And so what's going on with Wano right now, I agree with you. This is probably what we were previously considering modern One Piece. This is a bit of a wrap up, and I think when Wano is done, I do believe we are entering a new era.
Most definitely.
Because we are definitely wrapping on things, because we were privy to Kaido's existence for a very long time.
Most definitely. Like,
Big Mama was introduced in Whole Cake Island, but we never really properly had a fight with her. We're doing it now.
Well, she was properly introduced, really, back in Fishman Island.
Yes.
Where Luffy literally had the standoff with her. They literally met face to face, but Big Mom was like, I'm not going to fight you, though.
Yes. Like I said, it feels like we are really wrapping up some loose ends. And what comes next, I'm under the impression, Val, that... Because Oda has said that One Piece... A few years back, Oda said that One Piece was eventually going to... Like, it was getting close to ending. And I said, 10 years from now. Well, I'd say we've been about 5 years, maybe, since he said that. So, yeah, I think after Wano, we are now entering the final stretch. Because what is there to do now? I feel like Odin's origin story really keys us into the fact that they would show us all of that now. It's like a lot of stories will do that in their climaxes, in the post Act 3s. They'll give you that context. And it feels like we were just given some finale-esque context to enter the finale with.
Most definitely, but I feel like, here's the thing about Oda. He says a lot of stuff.
Yes.
We both know that.
No, but here's the thing, Val. No, here's the thing.
Shanks is making his move.
Yeah, the year Shanks, that was 5 years ago. Here's the thing. I'm saying that One Piece is about to enter its finale. I say that as in, we've got like 5 or 6 years ahead of us. From the point that Wano ends, I think we have a wrap up within 5 years.
Well, dude, you gotta think.
Two major arcs. I think
we have Elbaf coming, and Elbaf is one of those things that has been talked about since. Dude, once again, it's one of those things we can't really take Oda like at face value where he says it's gonna end, because he does come up with new things probably, or things that like somehow like connect to each other in even better, deeper ways and things. Like, speaking realistically, I don't think One Piece is gonna end anytime really soon, personally.
You're right, Val. Let's tag another 10 years to that.
Yeah, no. Anything that he says, I'm going to say, yeah, it's probably going to go on for, like, even longer for that. Because look at how long Wano's been. Oda cannot control himself. I know for a fact. No, I don't know for a fact. Because I hate saying I know things for a fact. Because it could be bullshit. But Oda has been reined in to some degree in more recent years, I think, and he has been trying to, like, more efforts to, like, carry on and, like, get things done, like, quicker than usual, rather than having the characters, like, run off on, like, little escapades and things like that, that are always great, but people might consider they waste time. It ain't gonna stop the fact that Wano took 3 years. Wano is yeah, you told me, Wano is officially the longest arc, isn't it?
Yes, but I feel like that means we are due for a shorter one.
Oh, most definitely, because it always goes, like I said, it goes in a rhythm. So we get in a saga, we get a big, bombastic, crazy adventure where we, like, hit key points and everything. Things are revealed, like with this, the mystery of the devil fruit and everything like that.
Because again, it's the climax. Alabasta
Precisely.
was the longest arc at that point.
Then we're gonna get a more comedic arc, I would say. So let's say how we went from Eni's Lobby to Thriller Bark, for example. I would say
I would say like Long Ring, Long Island, Thriller Bark, Amazon Lily. I know what you mean. Yes, it's gonna happen.
Thriller Bark is kind of cool though, because even though it was like a really funny arc and everything, it had like massive stakes and like the villains.
Its climax was very important. Like I said, I'm like really in the middle of working on that review right now, and I keep looking back because like you talk about the comedy arc, the funny filler, and I have that, and I have Thriller Bark in that classification. But it, like, leaps and bounds is, like, better than the others because there's still ridiculous ramifications for that arc.
No, yeah, exactly.
And really badass moments.
Oda has a really great... It reminds me of... I recently, because you were talking about it so much on the thing, I had my friends around, and I said to my friend, yo, dude, you've gotten a freaking Robin in One Piece now and everything. We're heading to the Jaya arc and all. How about
that's where I got Steena right now. We just watched the Alabasta movie, so I could kind of get her at a starting point because she got a little bit lost.
I don't.
So I'm like, all right, let's watch Alabasta and then start from there.
I like the Alabasta movie in bits, but overall, I think it's a really poor retelling of Alabasta.
Yes, Alabasta's so big.
It is. Alabasta's freaking huge.
Because that's the first thing I said when we watched it. We watched it last night. I said, where the fuck was Ace? And I realized, oh wow, I mean, it was such a big arc. I mean, when did they find the room? But that said, it got to the important shit.
Yeah, it did. It did.
That was important. Like it's for someone like Steena and the most audiences who like myself. When I was there a few years back, that's where I got burnt out and lost, and I actually stopped reading for a while. Like this catch up I just did. That was like a year or two break after doing Alabasta because I got burnt out. It's easy to get lost at that point.
No, yeah, it is. My friend, when I started watching One Piece with him back in 2015, before he left for university, and I started like really concentrating on the voiceovers and everything like that for like the 8 years that I've been freaking doing it and everything, which I do not regret. Time well freaking spent. All my friends say to me, you know what, Val, we're glad you didn't go to university. You like stayed home and you fucking concentrate on the thing that you love doing. Like, recently everyone was, like, just saying how proud of me they were, and it was really nice. But, he got to Skypiea, and he was, like, watching all the filler and everything like that. And he got burnt out around, that point, and he has not gone back since. And he's been waiting for me and Luke. He's like, dude, tell me when you and Luke get to the point where I got to the Marine base, which that is the only filler. I'm probably going to say to my friend, we have to watch this filler. The Marine base is freaking great.
Yeah, the Marine base filler is good. That's
really
good filler.
It's
I
really good
remember
filler.
that.
Yeah, it was genuinely fun. It's one of those things where you go into it and you go, this is real, I believe that, and then you get to Foxy and everyone's like, there's no way this actually fucking happened. That's like a general thing that happens with the One Piece, or new One Piece people. They go to Marine Bay, it's like, yeah, this is all great, and like adds to the characters. Sick. Foxy comes in. Who's this filler-ass looking motherfucker?
Yeah, that's my feelings. That's like when I'm writing this review, I'm just shitting on Long Ring Island.
But you could argue that Foxy is one of the more insipid villains of the entire thing because he steals your fucking friends.
Yeah, because that's like the last like vestiges of classic One Piece when it's still Nakama.
Precisely, and then it's like, you know, Aokiji comes along, and you go from this middling, crappy villain who isn't even a threat except in very specific circumstances that he orchestrates, and that's what I feel actually makes Foxy a great villain. He like makes the scenarios that make him dangerous. But then you meet Aokiji, who is then this real threat, and is like...
Yes, but I don't consider Aokiji's introduction... by technical standards, yes, that's Long Ring Island. But I consider the introduction to Aokiji the beginning of Water 7.
No,
I think that's the inciting incident of that arc.
He foreshadows everything that's going to happen at Water 7, because he tells Luffy straight up, you are going to meet people that are stronger than you, and you are going to lose. Because
it's so widely... Again, a testament to why Thriller Bark is so good, because when they fight Bartholomew, that still feels like it's within its arc. But Aokiji's introduction is so juxtaposed by what just transpired, it doesn't actually feel like it belongs to its own arc.
I love the fact that he was just... I love the fact he was... Is the fact that he's just, like, been there the whole time as well, watching. He's like, yeah, I've just been here, chilling, watching you guys
He's
fuck
lazy
around.
justice, isn't that his whole shtick?
Yeah, exactly. It's just great. It's a really good introduction to such a dangerous character. But a point I was going to make was Oda has this really great thing where some of his most comedic villains, and I put Gecko Moria in that category. Gecko Moria is like, I'm sure you know, a big joke in One Piece, kinda, and it's quite sad because he has a very tragic backstory, and he's like got a really good presence, but he's like become so lazy and like, you know, full of despair that he's just lost any sense of like dignity that he has, and he becomes a massive joke, and he is definitely in that category of comedic villain. But like all of Oda's comedic villains, they always have some like the darkest, most insipid like motivations and things that they want to do to other people in the world of One Piece.
I mean, you just described like literally like every character in One Piece, though.
No, it's like, okay, so
I know. You're finding an exception even to those supposedly comedic villains, but I say that's just juxtaposition. That's just the power of juxtaposition. It's the fact that, oh, they're so silly. So when you do introduce tragedy, the tragedy hits harder. We call this bathos and pathos.
Okay. Well, that's kind of like Senior Pink, isn't it?
Yes, Senior Pink is like the most stunning example. I know you love Senior Pink. I think his origin story is a fucking joke. I think it's practically a soap opera.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Cue the violin music and the guy from SpongeBob is like, I was born with paper skin and glass bones. It's like literally like everything goes wrong for Senior Pink to a comedic degree. When you primed me for this, you're like, oh my god, I love this guy's origin story. It's so tragic. I'm like,
I do.
Oh my god, I couldn't take it seriously.
No, I love Senior Pink. Leave him alone.
It's ridiculous.
His baby died in...
I just really don't like Dressrosa. I'm sorry. There are elements... I love that toy soldier, but the Dressrosa just does not do it for me.
Nah, that's fair. It is interesting that Don Quixote do Flamingo, probably one of the, like, most evil characters in the series thus
One of the
far.
most evil I would agree with that. Evil, scummy as fuck. And quite the very distinct with the I mean, you put him in a lineup. Which of these characters is Doflamingo? It's the guy with the fucking pink feathery fucking ass guy. Like,
yeah,
he's very distinct. He's very insidious. But my god, the payoff to him going down just doesn't do it for me. It's too long. Too long, too diluted. It's a very diluted experience for me.
I was gonna say it's one of those things where Doflamingo is interesting, like as a character. I was gonna talk about in the fact that he surrounds himself with all of these really goofy characters, and yet he is taken especially seriously, and also he like loves every one of those goofy characters and genuinely feels like, heartbreak when they die on him or something.
Yes. But again, this is such a long, diluted experience. Like, as you introduced Wano to me, at the very least, Wano has acts. They feel compartmentalized, and that really helps in the experience. Whereas Dressrosa is this just long marathon.
Yeah, there's a lot of fanning-arsing about in Dressrosa. Like Sanji running off with, like, Olivia and stuff.
And to what degree? It's mostly just Luffy making his way to Flamingo. Whereas, I think, go back to Alabasta. Alabasta also has very good compartmentalization. And Luffy's crew actually feels useful.
Yes.
I think their fights actually rival Luffy's smackdown of Croc at the end. It's more balanced. If we're comparing long arcs, Wano has a very nice act system, and Alabasta is just very masterful in making sure every important in that long trot is important and is a payoff because it's a climax. Dressrosa is not the climax of anything. Alabasta and Wano are.
I've never liked these. Really. I don't know why. Everyone always loves them. I always hear people say they love them at least. Like whenever I go into like anime videos and people say the tournament arc. I fucking hate tournament arcs. How do you feel about tournament arcs? Because when they introduced it in Dressrosa, and it was basically One Piece gets its very first tournament arc, because that's what the gladiator fights are, I was like,
too little too late. It wasn't even good. I glazed. Like I said, I don't like Dressrosa, and I think that's my least favorite part of Dressrosa is the tournament arc. In general, I think tournament arcs are a very fun way. If you have to make your characters fight and you want to start making those comparisons, if you want to appeal to like the most like oxygen deprived brain cell in the average shonen trash fan's mind, tournament arcs are a fun way to do that. But as I've said before, I am not a fan of power scaling or comparisons in One Piece. So a tournament arc was like the last thing I wanted in the docket.
I think if I were to do a tournament arc, I feel like Hunter x Hunter or Hunter x Hunter does something like this. And I've never watched Hunter x Hunter. And I kind of, at this point, don't want to read Hunter x Hunter because I feel like it's never going to get done. I feel like...
Same. Unlike Berserk, I feel like this... I don't want to insult the mangaka on that. Because
No.
Hunter x Hunter is a bastion.
I ain't going to talk shit on Togashi. I ain't going to do it.
It's fucking great, and I think the man has been done very dirty by just life in general. That being said, as someone who only has a finite amount of time, Hunter x Hunter is something that's very low on my priorities because that is such a dense work that's not going to be paid off. That's never going to get finished. I know that's not going to get finished, and I'm not even going to bother.
You said it the other week, I think. Berserk has many points where it gets paid off. You could read
Berserk
the entire...
doesn't need to be
read
finished.
the Golden Age arc. You could watch the anime of the Golden Age arc and walk away and go, that was a fucking great story.
Yes, exactly. That's always been Berserk to me. The Golden Age arc happened. I don't need anything else from Berserk. The rest was just whipped cream and cherry. One Piece is another example whereas Berserk gives me one great, maybe greatest of all time story. One Piece is the greatest story of all time that's comprised of many great individual stories. So if something were to happen to One Piece, I would be devastated, but oh my god, I have so much great shit to look back on, and that's fine.
How about we get, like, right into the episode? What was something that you came away with 1015? Like...
Yes, I'm glad you brought it back, because I want to bring it back too, because there's a lot I want to talk about in regards to 1015 before we do the rest of our dirty laundry this week.
Ace is so goddamn lovable in that episode, actually.
It's a great Ace episode. I'm so glad that they keep coming back to Ace.
Yeah.
That's a character I was always worried about. Like, I miss him so much, and I'm glad that they find great and interesting ways to bring him back. The way that he inspired others, and so you lost the head of Ace, but in return you get a lot of mini aces. Luffy among them. Luffy, Sabo, and Yamato are chief among them.
Sorry. How do you feel about Sabo?
How do I feel about Sabo? I am neutral on Sabo. I'm glad that the Revolutionary Army has a face.
Yeah. No, same,
I'm glad
same.
because for some reason Dragon D Monkey D. Dragon, for some reason, isn't going to be the face. I don't get it. I don't understand. If there's a guy who we rarely ever get anything about since the very beginning, so I'm assuming that Dragon has a lot to offer us when he finally gets his chief spotlight.
I certainly fucking hope so.
He's been my biggest frustration from start to finish. He was always set up as this big thing, and I have to wonder if... I talk about how Vivi was the first big major retcon in the series, and I have to wonder if something about Dragon was heavily retconned, and Oda managed to stop himself before incriminating or starting any unnecessary information, and he's reworking the character. But yes, Dragon frustrates me, so Sabo is there to fill the void that Dragon should be filling. And again, Sabo on top of that is also a mini-inspired ace. So Sabo has qualities that I'm willing to accept. That being said, I would rather have Ace. I would rather have Dragon be important.
Yeah, I never really thought about it like that, as Sabo being a surrogate for Dragon's place.
He's not a surrogate for Dragon, because Dragon still has something to do, but it's like Shanks again. This is the year Shanks makes his move. If Shanks fans are starved, Dragon fans they've died of starvation. They're already dead.
They're that meme where they're a skeleton, it's like waiting for Hot D Season 2 or something like that.
On top of that, we're not just waiting, there's no hope. Right now, there's at least a film coming out that I know is not going to fulfill the Shanks needs, but at least there's hope. At least there's hope. But Dragon, I don't know when you... I feel like Dragon is just going to be there for the end game. I feel like we will not know nothing. We will not really see anything of Dragon again until that finale.
I really want One Piece films to just start, like, splitting off into, like, separate characters. Like an Ace film, a Shanks... That's all I wanted. I wanted a Shanks origin story or something like that.
I know how you feel. I know how you feel. And that's what I want to get into, because...
I hate that Luffy's involved, but I just...
I mean, I can't. Those characters are great. Like, it's not like Deku, where I'm bored of him. 4 chapters in, I'm already bored of Deku. One Piece, I mean, I just love Luffy. He's great, because with Luffy, his friends are not far behind, so...
No.
Whereas Deku doesn't really have real friends, I'm sorry. He finally had a heart-to-heart with Ochako, like, 300 chapters in.
That wasn't... I'm gonna be honest.
He abandoned Ida, like, 19 chapters in.
I'm gonna be honest, that heart-to-heart was not that good.
It was the Oasis effect. I don't think it's great, but it's good enough considering what we're not getting.
I mean, you're happy to have something.
I was starved. I'm like, oh my god, a morsel, a little morsel, a tasty little morsel for my urethra. Have you seen that video?
No, I have not.
The Loud Wrath, freaking driving is traffic is a sport, and I'm going to win.
Oh wait, yes, I have. It was just a few weeks ago, and it left my fucking.
A tasty little morsel. Yeah, but staying on topic.
Yeah, 1015.
Okay, so 1015. What I want to discuss is the young prodigy Megumi Ishitani. She is responsible for this. I was not privy to this fucking absolute mensch's existence until now. She's very new on the scene. The last time we heard of her, again, makes sense, it was the last scene that people were raving about. It was that rave. Episode 980 something. Like, it was that rave. Like, basically, anytime a fucking clip in the past, like, year or two has gotten One Piece fans up in a fucking hype uproar, it's because of her.
Yeah.
And whenever she gets involved. And so I started researching her, and oh my god, animators love her. So I'm like, what is her deal? Because I see the final product, I understand. It's fucking great. But what is she doing that makes this happen? And I start looking at her storyboards. Go figure. Toei puts these storyboards on lock and key. Because apparently they're very valuable. And yeah, actually, apparently, no, they are very valuable. The ones you do see, oh my god, Val, they're practically like finished art pieces. They're ridiculous. And I'm like, first of all, where does she find the fucking time? Like, please, Toei, do not burn her the fuck out. She also did a little OVA called Jurassic that I just took a peek at. That's fucking great. It was just a singular thing. It's not related to anything. It was just a little, like, miniature film.
Yeah, no, I'm seeing that on her Mal page. Which has probably only recently been, like, hastily thrown together, for all I know.
Yeah, it probably, this Mal page was probably put together, like, last week. I wouldn't fucking be surprised. because she's really made her case with 10-15. I would argue is one of, if not the best episodes in the One Piece anime. This is fantastic. Start to finish. There is not an ounce of fat on this. This is fucking delicious. And it looks great. It's colorful. I love the framing. I like the angles. It reminds me of Stampede. But like better. Like it just pure eye candy.
I felt like there was a bit of Osamu Tezuka in there at one point at the bit where
I mean, when isn't there?
No, it's the bit that everyone's been sharing online, everything. The bit that everyone loves, where it's Yamato and you've got the split between red and blue, where it's Roger's story, and then Ace's story, Luffy's story, and then the colors come together, and there's that string that shakes, that vibrates with the music.
And the direction, too.
Mm-hmm. It's fucking great. I was like, yo.
Because it wasn't just storyboard, she directed that, so she was responsible for everything that time. And she makes great decisions.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
That scene is incredible. The utter despair in Yamato's anime, it's almost purely in the hands that she communicates. The anime in the hands, this fucking despair when she realizes that Ace has died.
They made her a fucking cinnamon bun in this. They made her like 10 times
more
they made her
than
they
cute.
did in the manga. They made her really cute. Because frankly, I wasn't that into Yamato in the manga. I thought he was okay.
He surprised me. I've been like dead naming and misgendering Yamato. I'm so sorry. I should be better at this. They make him a fucking cinnamon bun.
Everyone was like standing Yamato. I'm gonna be honest. Let's be honest. Everyone stand Yamato at first because frankly they are hot as fuck.
Yes, Yamato is a fucking bae. But I got interested because, like I said, there was a controversy on Twitter about the gendering and the pronouns, and immediately I go, oh, a controversy. Anime fans are pissed off? I want to know what this is about, because that's just me. I'm just a ambulance chaser. And that's how I was introduced to Yamato. Immediately I'm like, oh, sweet. Can't wait to get to this. My reading the manga, I go, okay, Yamato's okay. Yamato's alright. The controversy definitely oversells the character.
It does, yeah.
That being said, but this episode, I'm like, oh my gosh, they just had fun with him.
No, I
love it.
Like I said, if I remember the manga page correctly and everything, they did not make Yamato nearly that fucking cute or anything.
Yeah, this is more so. This was. I mean, this entire episode was just adding because, as you told me, they were celebrating the fact that this was an adaptation of the 1000th chapter. And they want to make it special. Plus, this was the episode that was airing after the hacks. They had a little bit more time to play with it. There was a little more whipped cream time on this, though I doubt that it was much because, again, bringing it back to Megumi, she seems to be very, very, very efficient because she's bringing what appears to be cinematic budgets to animation, where I don't think from a monetary standpoint and even a staffing standpoint, I don't think this was as extra as people believe it to be. I think this is just the product of immaculate direction.
You know what this episode really did well? I've always liked Kinemon. Kinemon is probably one of my favorite, like, not official members of the crew, but, you know, an ally to the crew.
He's the samurai, right?
Yeah, Kinemon.
Yes, I love him.
Samurai.
I think he's more of a member of the Straw Hats than Jinbei is.
It definitely, dude, he's been here for almost 10 years. I'm pretty sure he's been here for 10 years.
Yes, he's been there since Punk Hazard.
Yeah.
I love him.
Punk Hazard
I
was a long
love
fucking
him.
time ago. Yeah, Kinemon's great. He's freaking amazing.
He's not the most distinct, but he's brought so much to us. Like, I give Jinbei credit. He's definitely got a more distinct personality.
Jinbei came into his own during Whole Cake, probably, where he said, "Fuck you, Big Mom. I ain't afraid of you. Go on, steal my soul. I don't care." Kinemon really, really came into his own in Wano, and it makes sense because it's his home country. He's getting the Vivi treatment.
Yes. Yeah, he is the second coming of Vivi. Again, because that's what I was going to get to next. I was watching Alabasta.
We'd probably say,
realistically,
Momonosuke is the second coming of Vivi. Literally the freaking royalty of the, like, country and everything like that.
I mean, technically, yes, but I'm talking about, like, impact on the Straw Hats and relationship.
Kinemon has had a massive freaking impact. Momonosuke, for the most part, like, ever since, like, from Punk Hazard to Dressrosa, was just fucking nestling in fucking titties until recently.
If Reverie had happened after Wano, Mononosuke would be there.
But actually, no, he wouldn't. No, he wouldn't.
No, he wouldn't be because they're isolated. But what I'm talking about is that group, the Royals. There's another like contingency. We have the Straw Hat Fleet, but if we're talking about even more like subsidiaries of the Straw Hat crew, you've got the Royals, you got Vivi and Poseidon.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, you got more than just that.
No, you must. Like, Luffy has enough allies at Reverie. It's like the Black Panther thing, where obviously Momonosuke is having the issue of, do I open my country up to the world that, in the time that I have been outside, has been utter fucking garbage?
Right.
I don't fucking know.
It's a great conflict to have.
No, it is. I mean, I think Black Panther used it as like an allegory for like the Trump thing initially. That's what I
doesn't
read
use it's not an allegory for the Trump thing. It's about isolationism.
Yeah,
It goes far. It goes way farther back. Colonialism and isolationism. It's actually not nothing modern. It's a pretty intuitive thing. It's a discussion we've been having for centuries.
Yeah, it's that argument, and I felt like that scene where Luffy walks past the emperors and everything. Luffy, I'll admit, I wasn't that impressed because I understand the stake of it, the scale of these two Yonko before him, everything. He just walked past him because what's more important to Luffy? Beating the shit out of these guys or seeing if his friends are okay? Obviously his friends. And that was cool. Luffy looks fucking chiseled as hell.
It's another parallel to the Nami moment. Help me? Of course I will. Vivi, I couldn't reach him. Luffy, I heard you.
Will you carry Wano on your shoulders? Of course I fucking will.
Would you carry Wano on your shoulders, knowing with the subtext of this is an isolated country, it doesn't necessarily deserve it. Luffy doesn't necessarily have any stake in this, and Luffy says, "Of course I will. It's my friend's country." Amazing. And that's just an amazing moment in the story, and I'm glad that this is the episode. One of the best episodes in the series got that line. That's one of the reasons why it's gonna be one of the all-time greats.
The real line where I think it actually confronts that is, "Who says a stranger can't save this country?"
Right.
Yeah, I believe that was a line when obviously he's like thinking back on they think back on the journey of Wano. They talk about the Rio and everything.
Yes, but that's gonna be Momonosuke's like smoking gun for like his main argument for why he would allow them to open up their borders. Is the fact that there might be great trouble in the great wide world, but there's also a lot of people who are willing to help for nothing. There's guys like Luffy out there. One Luffy is worth 1,000 troublemakers like fucking Big Mom and Kaido.
Yeah. Luffy is teaching these people to open themselves up again, not only in terms of like their hearts, but also on a global level.
But it's great. Luffy is globalist king. I love it. I love this shit. Love it. Fucking break down your borders, bitch. This is yeah, and just bringing it back to the episode once more. We talk about that one scene with the red and the blue scale and Roger's and Luffy's and Yamato's stories coming together. I also want to give a lot of credit to, I already spoke about the despair in that hand animation when he realizes that Ace has died. I also love that bit where Ace is riding his ship. I always forgot about that. The fact that he propelled his ship using heat.
The board, yeah.
He uses the heat to propel the sail. God, in a very similar way that you would propel a hot air balloon. It's not necessarily scientifically accurate, but I respect the imagination of it. But on top of that, when he dips his hat into the water to kind of turn his ship around very suddenly, that is beautiful. Oh my gosh! Everything in this episode is fucking amazing!
No, it was watching this again that made me think, fuck man, I want more Ace. Screw a Shanks movie. Why didn't they just say, we're making an Ace movie?
We do need an Ace movie. I'm not very confident in that Shanks movie now that I've seen trailer footage. Cause I'm like, this looks like the old anime.
See, that's what I'm interested in. I was surprised to see the old anime. It does look like, well, not even old. It was like 3 years ago they were using that style still.
It's old now. It's old. 3 years is a long time. I'm a different person now, and so is this crew. Now that Ishitani's on the fucking rise, this is a whole new group. Also post Stampede as well. This is new. Why do you follow Stampede with that? I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not gonna fucking turn my nose to more One Piece content, but I'm gonna be a bit picky with this one.
I think this one might be better than Stampede, because I think they're keeping a lot of things under wraps, and it's interesting because they have a female villain, and I'm interested to see how they handle that, because I notice with a lot of Shonen usually really shies away, and not that I enjoy it or anything like that, but it always shies away from, like, women being in, like, direct combat or having, like, major amounts of, like, you know...
Shonen is incredibly antiquated. Like, their marketing, their editing strategy is incredibly antiquated. But conversely, Jump Plus has kind of been, like, redefining that. Like, we talked about this in Saturday Jump.
Yeah.
That whoever's running Jump Plus, the editors, whatever group or singular individual who is running Jump Plus is a fucking genius in comparison to who's running the main magazine. It's by Jump's standards, by Shueisha's standards, it's very progressive. It's a whole new fucking breath of fresh air, and it makes sense that despite being digitally and easily accessible to audiences at the palm of their hands, their physical volumes are still outselling the main magazine right now.
Really?
They are. Like, I keep my eyes on the numbers, and right now they are kicking ass. It's fucking hilarious.
I personally, I still have hope for Film Red. The only thing that pisses me off about it is that I just wanted, it's okay if Luffy's there, it's okay if, like, all the crew's there, even for a bit, but I wanted the main thing to be about Shanks. Is he young?
It's not Shanks. It's gonna be a fourth time. I doubt there's gonna be any Shanks in here. It's gonna be very. The red is referring to his daughter.
Yeah, I know. And it's like, god damn it, I know. Like, cause we all knew, really, we're not gonna get anything substantial of Shanks from a fucking movie. We know that. We might get something. We might get a little something. We might get a little something. Will the girl somehow be in the shadow canon? Or whatever? Is she actually his freaking daughter or something? I don't freaking know. I mean,
at the end, they'll be, haha, no, it was just a misunderstanding.
Yeah, it's like, who's that girl that you always get twisted up about?
Melissa Shield.
Melissa Shield.
Yeah, I hate her so much.
You're there. You're outside the office at Horikoshi. Say her name.
Fucking say her name. Acknowledge her, bitches. Not in the spin-offs. I want her in the main series. She's important. You show her technology, but you won't show her. Fucking horseshit.
We may as well mention it. That punch at the end was freaking fantastic.
Wow, yeah, big fucking surprise. The Shonen Jump with the big director this time had a good punch.
No, I know.
I want to finally put a stamp in this. I feel like we've done 3 straight weeks. This has practically been One Piece month.
Pretty much.
I think we've said enough for now.
We have.
Until something big happens in the ongoing manga, I think we're good for now.
I'm trying to think.
We've got 20 minutes left. I would like to start catching up on our dirty laundry because we've not talked about some other stuff for a while.
We have not, but I mean, we've kind of had to hold off on it because obviously Golden Week. There's been a lot of breaks.
The Golden Week, that's also been a Golden Month because, wow, this has been very weird. I'm happy for the mangaka. I'm glad they're getting the breaks they need, but wow, it's been very hard to keep up when they're taking a break every week or 2 weeks and then the Golden Week happens. It's confusing. But they're going to get back on track very soon. Hopefully by mid-May, we're back on track.
What do you want to start with then?
Let's start with My Hero Academia. Let's go main series, then Vigilantes, and then I want to discuss the ending of Golden Kamuy.
Okay, so it's been like a week since I've read this.
Again, a disservice. This time off has been a disservice because this is some thick and heavy material. There's a lot going on. This is like very furious pacing that's being betrayed by the time that's being taken off.
Thank you. I'm glad you agree.
Yes, because this should be fantastic, but it's like, big moment, and then you get cut off. Like, he wants to say big moment, and then you get cut off.
It feels like this fight is already going to end, and maybe it's because I've gotten so goddamn used to One Piece, cutting back and forth between fights, like, a whole goddamn lot.
I'm actually getting concerned that we are starting to rush to the finish line. It feels like once Dabi's taken care of, that's 1/3 of the fight already done. And the only reason why it's taken so long is because of the breaks. Chapter-wise, this hasn't been very long.
No, it has not.
I'm getting very concerned.
The art is freaking incredible in these pages, though, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, big surprise. We said that time off he was taking was going to show dividends here. Like, no,
like, honestly, the initial page is super striking to me. It's the Mount Fuji thing, talking about how Endeavor cultivated his power, his ultimate move, and everything.
He stole that from us. That's the God Throne. I'm not even shitting you. That's a shot straight off the JoyQuest opening sequence. Pissed, pursuing. Whoa. Hey guys, if you want to listen to the JoyQuest theme, the MP3 is finally available to download on our Patreon.
You know,
if you couldn't find it on iTunes because it's buried there.
You know, it's gonna be 5 years since we started that soon.
Fuck.
I know, 2018.
I said when I was digging through that, I was kind of missing it.
Late 2018, Ivan.
Wow, we were just babies.
I know.
I was still just a baby little alcoholic, man. It was good, some good times.
That God, don't go back and watch that. There's so much like underlaid bitterness because we were fucking each other over and being petty at times. Like when I was like,
we were all young. We weren't even like proper friends yet. It's like Golden Age One Piece JoyQuest. Again, I wish people could watch the D&D campaign we're playing privately because oh my God, it's like leaps and bounds. Just like it's more refined. I wouldn't say better. It's just more refined gameplay.
It went from you saying one like snide comment, and then I'm like, my character pushes your character down the stairs. Why, Val? Because I fucking hate you.
All right, fucking My Hero. I don't. What's to say? It's kind of
Hell
like
Spider was the most impressive fucking page in my opinion.
Yes. That's what I want to say is the fact that we're kind of getting into the paranormal war arc kind of territory where. These are just seconds of combat. Each chapter is just seconds of combat. Looks great. It's not like the seconds of combat situation that was problematic in the Overhaul arc, where it really had much. It wasn't very inspired. It looked very claustrophobic. It wasn't very fun to look at. Whereas the Paranormal War arc, it was fun to look at. Here, it looks beautiful.
Yeah, I think when would you say Hori finally got down like fights?
It was probably after he admitted that he sucked at them during the Overhaul arc. He complained to himself. He admitted it in interviews. He was like, "The anime is kicking my ass. I feel fucking awful." And so I would say the Paranormal War arc. I really think that's where.
I was literally about to say Paranormal War was where I feel
and not to say that that's not where it got good.
Ochako versus Toga and things. I think that was like an example of like a pretty good small scale fight where there wasn't like too much going on, but there was like good choreography there.
Like in the context of Overhaul, like something that felt like the Overhaul arc was actually good. Yes, a good comparison, but not to say that it just got good overnight.
No,
between Overhaul arc and then there was a climb to improve. Endeavor the Hawks was one of the first examples where that was a very good fight.
Was Overhaul arc back in like 2018?
I want to assume so. It's been a blur.
Let me see.
I don't know anymore.
Manga chapter 122, and it was released in January 16th, 2017. So it's been 5 years since the Overhaul arc. That is,
But that arc was very long. That practically took over a fucking year.
It did, didn't it? It was a huge freaking arc. How do you feel like that arc, like, you know, lasts now? I mean, like, do you feel...
Now, it barely registers.
Like, Eri is, like, the most important thing we got out of that. Like, where the fuck is Chisaki right now? I always had the impression that he was going to, like, serve in, like, the downfall of, Hans friggin' Shigaraki.
And he may still. Like, we're still waiting on it. If we don't see him again, that's gonna be a huge blow. Like, I'm actually gonna have to, like, have some fucking words and be like, hey, you know what? If they can't find an actual proper wrap-up on Chisaki, and I believe they still will, but if they don't, big problem. That sucks.
Yeah.
The last time we see him is he's a little bit of bait during the Lady Nagant fight. Ew. That bait was barely anything.
I know, right? It's a shame, because Overhaul is...
He always demonstrated, like here's what I respect about Overhaul. He's not all for one.
No. We can...
Because if you look back on it now, who wasn't tied to all for one?
Overhaul.
Chisaki.
Obviously. Yeah.
Overhaul, Chisaki. Every other villain, every major villain is wrapped up as a pawn in all for one's game. Overhaul's the only one who's just... he's his own thing. And he was treated like that. At the time, it felt like a big deal. It was like, wow, our first big major villain who isn't all for one. Who would have thought he'd be our only one?
How are we feeling about our boy, Icy Hot Boy's like progression here? Do you feel like this this whole thing feels earned, for example? Because it's one of those things where I really feel like, because we've just been on the Deku bus for like a really freaking long time.
Oasis effect.
Yeah, I'm not feeling that engaged in this.
Here's my feelings. It's not so much, Todoroki was always a very empty, almost like intentionally empty character.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of had to like, he was a retcon to take over for Ida.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of his arc, I like I find his entire family very fascinating. If you talk about him as an individual, do I feel fulfilled? I never felt like he had that much to offer. He's kind of the correction. He's there to be the correction of the family dynamic. And he is fulfilling that. Is that spectacular? Not really. I'm still, at the end of the day, more invested in Endeavor. Because he has a greater point of development. That guy was a piece of fucking shit. He was terrible. He was almost set up to be a villain in a way. He's almost practically a villain in the sports festival arc.
Yep.
He was almost the first demonstration of the seedy underbelly of Hero Society.
Doesn't he literally walk up to Midori at one point and say, "My son's gonna beat the fucking shit out of you"?
Yes, he says that. Yes, and he's the first our introduction to selective breeding in Hero Society. Like, he's fucked up. And to see him develop now, that's why I enjoy Endeavor more. I've seen more growth of him, whereas Todoroki is Sasuke, and then he becomes nice Sasuke. And that's all that's really happened. I think I enjoy him more as a joke character.
Do you know what was honestly the best bit about this chapter, in my opinion, in terms of like his interaction between Icy Hot and, goddamn, what's his freaking name? You've literally been saying it this entire time.
Are you talking about
Todoroki?
Todoroki's his name.
Todoroki and Dabi.
They're all Todorokis.
I know they're all Todoroki, but fine then. Todoroki and slightly older Todoroki. The brother's input on
Big brother, little brother.
On fuck you, Dabi. You're fucking crazy.
Again, I brought that up before. The last time we talked about My Hero Academia, I talked about nihilism. And again, this is just a statement of themes. This is the one hill that Horikoshi is willing to die on. He says, fuck apathy, fuck nihilism. I might not be able to solve the cop problem, but I can say, well, don't do nothing about it. And so that's what's happening right now. But what my favorite part of this chapter, as it was brought to my attention by our fans in the Discord, was they brought up, some of them were a little bit confused about Dabi. Why would Dabi fight Todoroki in Kamino Square on top of the All Might statue? To which I replied, I didn't realize it until they made me have to speak on it. And I went, wow, you know what? This is actually pretty cool. Again, we talk about the Deku effect. No one else really has a true relationship with All Might besides Deku. Deku hogs all the attention. He hogs all of All Might's attention. But if we're talking about another character that definitely has not a true relationship, I should say, it doesn't. Deku fucked everything up. But has something of a relationship that's interesting. Little Todoroki, Icy Hot, has a relationship with All Might in that fucked up household. All Might is the defining factor. Like, Dabi is fucked up. Dabi is a fucking insane fucking creature. And what defines them, what saved Todoroki, little Todoroki, from becoming that, was All Might. He watched All Might on TV and idolized him too. He said, I like that guy. My dad's fucking it up, but I understand that my dad is... my dad. But it's not just that, but it's just that I understand that not all heroes are my father. They can also be great people like All Might. And that's what saves Todoroki. So that moment when Dabi is stepping on the All Might statue and it is fucking melting under the weight of his fucking insanity and his flames, it's the biggest fucking middle finger Dabi could possibly give to Todoroki. That is why Todoroki is fucking pissed. And it's fucking great.
I was kind of taking it as Dabi's obsession being similar to a younger Endeavor and a less wise Endeavor.
Yes, it's more visual. Without putting it in words, This is pure visual metaphor. You have a because Endeavor has given up on this. Endeavor has finally cooled the fuck down. Dabi won't give it the fuck up. He's like, you built me to fucking surpass All Might. So this is me saying, look, this is Dabi going, look, Dad, look at fuck All Might's legacy. And Todoroki looks at that and goes, what do you mean fuck All Might's legacy? He's the only reason this family has a fucking chance of being normal again. And again, this is, they do talk because it's a Shonen Jump and it's basic Shonen Jump dialogue, but they didn't need it. That melting of the statue and Todoroki's his facial reaction to that was more than enough. So that is what I like about this chapter. That is about this chapter that I find very important and very spectacular and a highlight of this arc so far. Vigilantes.
I didn't read it.
Our boys going to America.
Fill me in.
Our boys going to America. We called it.
With the big titty babe, copper
big
decent
titty
lady.
babe, fucking Captain Celebrity. So basically
living in America.
So the reason why Koichi will be absolved of his crimes is the fact that Captain Celebrity, the motherfucker, the G, walks in with a briefcase and a contract and goes, "Hey Koichi, you forgot to sign this check." Okay. Looks at the cop and goes, "That's my sidekick. He was on official hero business." And I'm like, oh yeah, American hero Koichi. American sidekick, actually, Koichi. But I like this. Koichi is an official sidekick, which is a joke I made about in an early episode of My Hero Bridge, where I said that just because you can't be a hero doesn't mean you don't need to take a hero course to legally file as a sidekick. I did this with Bakugo, with Genist. And they're doing it here. And I'm so fucking happy. Yes! Oh, I fucking called this shit. But that being said, there is a bit of a there is a, not a literal, but definitely a metaphoric declaration of love between him and Pop.
I don't like that.
So remember we said that he burnt his last hoodie? Yeah. He will never wear another hoodie again.
He was given another
that
one,
hoodie that Pop stole from him all those years ago. She brings it back and goes, "I know you're not gonna wear these anymore, but it's important that you have it." And so then she walks out, and then she's like,
"Wait, so he knows? Does he know that she's?"
He doesn't know because Koichi's an idiot. Because he looks at it, he goes, "Wow, okay, I don't think I ever got this one. I think this is the one I didn't have." And she's like, "You fucking idiot." So she goes away, and then she's like, "All right, no, I gotta really tell him how I feel." She goes back. The motherfucker has it on. And he's about to hit out the fucking window.
That's great.
So, like, the motherfucker was about to say, "Just kidding, I'm not done."
So, is he actually going to America then, or did he just pretend like
No, he doesn't really. Koichi doesn't realize that he's legally bound to Captain Celebrity now. He doesn't know. But Captain Celebrity told the police and says, "That's my sidekick. I have legal documents."
Watch out, Koichi. He's a famous horn dog.
I own Koichi. So whatever the problems the police have, you gotta take it up with my agency and my fucking team of lawyers, who just happens to be your fucking sister. I love it. And the detective goes, "God damn it. I love being an incompetent cop."
I love Captain's... What was it? Did I tell you a few months ago, like my friend, Bradley, we were doing a thing, it was like, oh, what character do you think like someone would voice in a manga or something like that? And, no, I might be getting it wrong here, but I swear to God, it was like, he put that I should be Captain Celebrity or something like that. And
I saw that tweet, and I'm like, yes, because that's our version of All Might in the Abridged. It's just Captain Celebrity.
I freaking love that. I love that, man. Like, Captain Celebrity was the thing that made me say, if I ever do see the manga, like the whole freaking thing splayed out in front of me, and I'm in like the fucking money or something, I might just buy the whole thing because I love Cap. He's my favorite character in it.
I mean, he's the one that changed my mind because I dropped off of Vigilantes.
Yeah.
He's the guy that really brought me the fuck back.
Yeah, we both did because we were saying like we like Vigilantes. There's lots of good shit about it, but and then we did the whole read through again back on Saturday Jump, And we were both like, oh my god, Captain Celebrity's the fucking best. What?
He's the best. I love him. When I first watched My Hero Academia, which influenced the abridged, when I was just watching the sub, and I was just like, and I knew nothing about the characters. I looked at All Might, and I felt something about him, and Captain Celebrity is scratching that itch. It always felt like he was meant to be something skeezier, and Captain Celebrity is the All Might I thought we were going to get. He was the All Might I always expected, in a good way.
Captain Celebrity is almost to me like a sort of light The Boys superhero, where he's got all the infidelity going on and everything like that, but he's not like a complete psychopath.
He's a PG version of it. He's a PG version of it. He's not he doesn't fucking team up with Nazis, but
No.
but if there was a really hot Nazi and she was like, oh my god, I'm so sad, and she was shaking her titties, she's so sad, I think he'd team up with her. Not because but the moment he finds out she's a Nazi, he'd kick her ass. But I'm just saying, it'd be very easy to fool him into it.
Because he's American?
Yes, because he's American. I'm glad my sense of humor is rubbed off on you. Because you said something that's actually very true. But on top of that, because he's a people pleaser.
Yeah. So
he's a dopey little people pleaser at heart.
What you're saying is, Captain Celebrity would bang, what is it? Ilsa, the she-wolf of the SSS?
Shit.
Do you know that film?
Isn't that from the freaking Grindhouse?
It's by Don Edmonds. It was a Canadian exploitation film.
Oh, okay, well, it's so something in Grindhouse was inspired by.
Yeah. It was. It's about like a super fucking hot Nazi lady or something that.
Yeah, it definitely inspired the Grindhouse trailers. I know you're getting that there. So the last thing, and speaking of cinematic influences, the ending of Golden Kamuy, probably one of my favorite manga, has now completed. I am running out of manga to read. So, that's what I'm going to leave with you, audience. Suggest me manga to read. It doesn't have to be shonen, just good, ongoing manga. I want to know.
We're bringing back Manga Rochambeau next week! No, I have no idea.
We're not, because we're going like Golden Week.
I know.
It's our Golden Week now. We're taking next week off.
Ivan, we don't live in Japan. We don't get Golden Week. We don't go to school on a fucking Saturday for half the day.
God, I'd fucking kill me if I did. Oh my god, I can't do it. I'm still having stress dreams about school.
I don't know. The nice thing is that it's like half the day, and then it's just an excuse to be like, hey guys, you want to go to like the arcade or something like that? I'm surprised you ain't played Persona. Have you played Persona?
5, yes.
5? Oh, only 5?
Yeah, like a true Persona fan. Well, I shouldn't say, no, like a true Persona fan, I didn't play 5.
No, play 3. Play fucking 3, Ivan.
I'll try to.
I'm being serious. Play 3.
It's very dense, but I did enjoy 5, so I'll get to it. But yeah, I just want to wrap up before we run out of time. Is the fact that I'm very satisfied with the end of Golden Kamuy. Like Dr. Stone, it achieves a point. Basically, when they find the Golden Kamuy, you know how it's going to end. Like nothing was a surprise at the end.
No.
It's very it's a fun train chase at the end, but it's like I know where this is going. And so like there's no surprises. There's not much of a rush. But that being said, I am wholly satisfied. It's like they basically, I mean, Noda said it himself. He was on a very tight deadline. They didn't rush him out the finish line. He rushed himself. He said, "Hey, I'm done right here. I want to move on, not because I hate it, because I feel fulfilled already." So,
do you feel like that's the opposite to what's happening with Hori right now?
I think Hori's doing just fine.
You do?
I think he's clipping at a perfectly fine pace for himself. I'm only beginning to get concerned. I need a consistent stream of chapters before I can make an assessment about what's going on in his head right now.
How?
Right now, I cannot make a proper judgment of Horikoshi right now.
That's fair. Well then, I did have like a question while we were talking about it. What will it take in the next chapter or the next few chapters for you to feel like very worried for My Hero Academia right now?
Dabi fight ends next chapter. That's gonna be the first marker of my concern. If that just ends and they're like, okay, Ida, you didn't have to be here.
I fucking know.
Like I feel like Ida's here because I think Ida's here to fulfill for a complication that we're gonna get next chapter. But if they like wrap this fight up in a chapter or two, I'll be very concerned. I'm like, okay, so that means Endeavor's fight with All for One's only gonna be like 5 or 6 chapters.
Probably less. I feel like we're gonna cut. I feel like we're gonna cut back to Endeavor, and everyone against All for One. Everyone's gonna be fucked.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be a like media res situation, or even they don't even fuck with it because I don't know. Dr. Stone felt like I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard anything from Ichiro.
I heard Boichi's already found his next project, which gives me the impression that he was
because he's an artist, so
No, for
like
sure.
he's already playing.
I mean, I remember saying to you, I remember saying a lot of things and predicting a lot of things that seemed to be like, because I remember saying, we were talking about it for a while, I remember you were very much of the opinion that My Hero Academia was simply going to be the prequel, which will then snowball into a sequel, which will be like them being true heroes and everything at one point. Is that about
No,
right?
I don't think of it as a prequel. I just think of it as a Naruto situation where Horikoshi, again, I've had this argument a million times. I feel like Horikoshi is
Mostly with
heavily
me.
stepped on by his editors.
Oh, okay then.
The fact that I feel like they will never let Horikoshi do something else. It will be a Naruto situation where we'll get something akin to Samurai 18 or whatever, Samurai number 18, whatever that guy did again. It'll last for 19 chapters. It'll be barely marketed because it'll be a whole conspiracy to get him back on Boruto. And I feel like that's the situation with My Hero Academia, is they're not going to allow Horikoshi to do anything else but another My Hero Academia.
I really think that with My Hero Vigilante, they've got it fucking sorted. There are other writers who can do stuff like this. They can get like notes and everything from Horina, because he set up like a big world. It's kind of like a One Piece
again,
scenario.
it's going to be a Boruto situation where they're going to make a sequel series with someone else, and it's going to be okay, and then Horikoshi is going to not bomb, but he's going to do something, and it's not going to be to his satisfaction, and he's go, well, fuck, how do I chase that high again? Well, My Hero Academia again, I'll come back to that project, and they will welcome him with open arms, the same way they did with Dragon Ball Super, the same way they do with Boruto. It's that shit all over again.
I really hope not, because I've been saying for a very long time, I just want My Hero to be a nice short story. I remember saying about like...
Yeah, again, I want to bring that back
Yeah.
to Golden Kamuy. They did 314 chapters. It's, in the grand scheme of things, it's solid. I wouldn't call that short, but I would call that a brisk medium. It's very well paced too. There's not an ounce of fat in that story. So if you've not read Golden Kamuy, it's done. You got no excuses because, again, I want to bring it back to Noda. I felt like Riichiro and Dr. Stone was like booted out the door. I think they fucking pushed him out the door.
I still kind of think
Boichi.
I think Boichi wasn't that into it. I think Boichi like lost interest somewhere along the way.
I think so too. But until we get an official word, I don't know. That's purely speculation. But I would also agree. I think Boichi was already like flirting with other writers.
Yeah.
So I think Boichi kind of pressured Riichiro to kind of like, all right, wrap this up. I'm doing something else.
Yeah, naturally we can't.
I gotta write borderline porn for this fucking One Piece one shot.
We can't obviously jump to massive conclusions on it,
Yeah.
for example.
But something that we do have confirmed is Noda on Golden Kamuy. We said, hey, I know this feels fast, and he says, and I want to end this. I feel ready to end this. I'm a little bit tired, and I want to feel fresh again. That's fine, and it works good.
Yeah, man.
And he said, I'm not done. He says, he says that he's like refining the volumes. He's gonna push that volume out super quickly, but add more to it. So he feels.
So it's like an Attack on Titan.
There's a little bit more. There's a little bit more on the way. No new story, but like he's like, I've got a few extra pages in the middle of that climax, which is great.
Like a Full Metal Alchemist last little bit where at the very end they use Al's fucking armor to make a mail and a bird nest.
It's not for story. It's not for story. It's for the art. He's more talking about the art. He wants the art to look better. But on top of that, he also already has his next story planned.
Sick.
Which is a hockey manga. He did that hockey one shot and little spin-off series. He's like, I want to bring that back. So what he has just learned with Golden Kamuy for a hockey manga, I salute him. Michiganders and Canadians are saluting him right now. They're like, finally, we saw the cute girls with hockey anime. That was a fucking tragedy. He's gonna finally give anime its proper, manga and anime its proper hockey story. Let's fucking go.
Did you watch a fucking cutesy uwu like girl man?
I watched
anime
like 5 minutes and vomited.
Because it was hockey?
Because it was hockey. Because even they did. That's the reason why they greenlit it. It's like, hey, there's not a hockey cute girls do something.
No, it's never because of what they're doing. It's always because of the girls, Ivan. It's always the girls.
Yeah, but the girls are what sell it. They're like, well, what can cute girls do this week? They can play hockey. And I'm like, well, hockey? I want to see. Ooh. And then I fucking vomit. I shit and vomit at the same time and exit off because it was horrible. So that's all I wanted to say. So I'm running out of things to read. So until Noda gets that hockey manga out, I don't know what to do. So make your suggestions below.
You could finish Welcome to the NHK.
No.
Yes.
I don't want to read the incel manga.
You will read the it gets better. You'll get depressed. Really depressed.
Nah. But anyways, we gotta go. Okay,
Yeah,
Golden
train's
Week
fucking
begins now.
I crave the open sea again, but I'll settle for this dank ass.
As our train
station.
leaves the beach, we yearn for the sea. I mean, fuck it. Let's hop off. It's Golden Week, Val. Let's hop off the train and let's just enjoy the beach for a week.
Fuck yeah, take my hand, Ivan. Let's prance down the beach.
Take my hand. We are on the cruise.
Mind the gap as you exit our podcast safely. Rebuild of JoyCast is hosted by Ivan LeRoy and Valentine Stokes. LeRoy's written and directed works can be found on the JoyRide Entertainment YouTube channel and the soon-to-be-released original web manga, PARAMEDIC. Val's dulcet tones can be heard in many of your favorite anime and web series, such as RWBY, Death Battle, Tribe 9, Lackadaisy Cats, and more. This episode was edited by Steena Carey, with YouTube version edited by Cody Rock. Music provided by Lofi Geek. Intro and outro narration by Steena Carey. Outro music composed by Michael Pejovich. Logo and visuals designed by Ivan LeRoy. Rebuild of JoyCast is produced by JoyRide Entertainment and Rock Voice Productions LLC, and made possible thanks to Patreon donations from generous listeners like you. This month's highest tiered Patreon producers are Mr. Host, Austin, Hairo Medina, Gooner Bear, and FluffyGiggles McKoolcid. If you would like your name shouted out at the end of each podcast, an invite to our private Discord to interact with fans, cast and crew, or early access to all of our content, be sure to check out JoyRide Entertainment's Patreon. Links provided in the description. Thank you for keeping JoyRide's engine burning.